So we have beaten the Father of the Abyss.
Yes, and released the world from the threat of being covered by darkness.
Fantastic. We can finally leave Kingdom Hearts and go back home to the Destiny Islands and have fun and games with all of our friends.
What?
It's JRPG stuff. Don't worry about it.
I played JRPGs. Well, I actually didn't know Kingdom Hearts was an actual place in the game. I thought it was just what the game is called.
It actually, yeah, it is actually. It's not a location that you ever visit in the games, but it's kind of like the ultimate source of light and darkness in the games. So it's frequently harnessed by the villains who want to unleash darkness upon the universe.
Okay.
But we're not quite done.
Well, for Kingdom Hearts specifically, because you get sequels to platforms
Oh God!
like
Yeah. Oh,
that like
yeah.
aren't even on the same.
We could go.
Like,
Oh man, we could go on
company
about that
behind
for
it?
a very long time.
Yeah.
We could go on about the business strategy of Kingdom Hearts for a very, very, very long time.
Okay, well, let's talk about, is Dark Souls a JRPG or a WRPG?
It's categorically a JRPG, but it's made with WRPG sensibilities.
See, I think it's entirely a WRPG
I mean, it
or a
like,
Western RPG.
it depends on how you want to categorize them, I suppose.
That's true. Like, does JRPG mean the mechanics or characters,
or where it's
or
created.
does it mean
Yeah,
where it's created? Yes.
because yeah, like technically speaking, yeah, Dark Souls is JRPG. It's made by a Japanese developer in Japan, and so like it's made with a fair amount of Japanese kind of sensibilities behind.
Yeah,
it as
although
well.
that's unavoidable because the developers are Japanese, so naturally they put Japanese stuff in it, right?
Yeah. But structurally speaking, it is built like it's built like a Western RPG, like a Western action RPG, because it's got this gritty kind of grim, dark medieval fantasy world. It has all of these like kind of classic medieval enemies and monsters, and like it doesn't really pull from a lot of mythologies, and it doesn't technically do a lot with like deities and stuff, even though it has kind of that stuff in the background lore.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I call it a JRPG with WRPG sensibilities, but it certainly feels more like a WRPG than.
Well, I used to call Dark Souls a JRPG because it's made with Japanese developers, but I got my ass whooped in an internet conversation, and now I regard it as entirely a WRPG.
Man, I don't care about internet conversations at all. Whatever.
Well, the guy convinced me. I was wrong, so.
What? How did he explain it?
Because something to do with like French bread. I mean, like an English person could make French bread, and it's still called French bread. It's not called English bread because an English person made it.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, but that's. Oop, yeah, there we go. We got burned.
By the way, for this
Literally.
boss, you have to
Yeah,
die
there's the boss
once
here.
to him.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that making the distinction between making that sort of distinction seems a lot like quibbling over semantics to me, because it's like, I mean, yeah, French fries and Belgian waffles aren't going to be French or Belgian cuisine or whatever, but it's not exactly the same thing.
I like to think Dark Souls is very much like French bread.
I don't know. I don't feel like it's quite the equivalence that the guy who said it was hoping it to be. To be honest.
Convinced me though.
Well, that's because you're an impressionable, naive little babu.
Yeah, I've only been on this planet for 19 years.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean I understand the comparison. Like, it's made in the same style as a WRPG, so technically you could call it one if you really want to. Like there's
it depends how literally you want to
get on your case for that, unless they're a hardcore strict genreist. Yeah.
It depends how literally you want to have the names, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the J does stand for Japanese, so but
yeah.
You know, is it Japanese as in where it came from, or Japanese as in what's in the game and where it originally those things have come from?
I mean, I feel like that's kind of that's one of the reasons I don't like the current way that genres are defined in the first place, because like we have turn-based RPGs, we have action RPGs, we have console RPGs, we have computer RPGs, and it's like none of these things really, like, they conjure up specific images in your mind, but they don't, like, they're already the descriptors that people use to kind of qualify WRPG and JRPG. It's like when people think of JRPGs, they think of console-based, turn-based RPGs with like heavily influenced by anime kind of. Oh my goodness. Everything's okay. Don't worry. We're fine. We didn't break everything.
You didn't pause the video or anything.
Yeah, we didn't get cut off in mid-conversation, and now we're starting over again. I have no idea what's happening anymore. Oh god.
Take this part out.
No, it's
Don't
fine.
Don't pause the video though. We're not going to have another one of those Blight 10 episodes.
No, it's fine. We'll keep going. Everyone can laugh at our hilarious failures, at the fact that you have worse internet than I do.
No, okay. So, by the way,
he's gonna shoot down the dragon.
Be distracted by what he's gonna do. He's gonna do something really cool.
Yeah, it's fine. He's gonna help us.
Because God knows we can't fight him in his state, because the dragon's really badass.
Yeah. But no, it's fine. It's okay. People have technical problems in videos all the time. It's whatever.
Okay, so I think I know what the source of my terrible internet is. So I think in America, do you know what Sky is?
The internet provider.
Box. Well, it's that, but also like they have like a TV service provider.
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah. They're like they're kind of like Comcast and everything.
Yeah, that's linked to the router.
Yeah.
And whenever that's switched on, it takes up like the majority of the connection.
Oh, fantastic! So, how even? Why would you do that? Why would you connect the? Oh goodness, that's bad. Wow. All right. That would explain why your internet is somehow worse than mine, which is actually like functionally some of the worst internet you can get in the US still.
Well, 3 minutes ago was better than yours, but currently it's not.
Like I've made jokes. I constantly make jokes about how bad my internet is, but holy wow, I don't have the same kind of connection issues that you seem to.
Just learn the company and their very weird way of how networking works.
Yeah. Internet service providers. That's a topic that everyone would get a lot of Schadenfreude out of us talking about.
Yeah, you know how like in the UK and the US, you always get internet companies that are showing off like 100 megabytes a second. You're like that about your best internet in the country.
So bad.
Like places in like South Korea that have like 700 megabytes a second. Like,
oh, and the cherry on top of the cake, of course, is that the fine print always says up to 100 megabytes, which means that you never get 100 megabytes. That's
a very, very small asterisk.
Yeah, exactly. You are never going to get that speed, but they put it there because technically, maybe one day in perfect circumstances, you could get it. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's like, oh god, guys, just no. Internet service providers are awful. Like across the board, they're bad. I can't believe that in like Canada and Europe and Australia there are tons of internet service providers who put like monthly caps on data. I'm just like, oh good god, why? How do you even get away with that? That's like, that should be criminal to actually do.
And by the way, this is the area that we're in. It's actually a dried up version of the lake where the Hydra is.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Huh.
Because remember that ladder was there, and that leads to the river.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So this is where we're at, and we're fighting supposedly what the last ancient dragon is. And instead of Goth finishing the job, it's us.
Yep, he shot him down, but we're gonna finish him off with our lightning halberd, which
is very useful because dragons are of course weak to lightning.
I mean, you say that, but it's dealing kind of the same amount of damage that my Great Sword of Artorias did.
Yeah, but that scales with all your stats. My one has a fixed amount of damage anyway.
Sure.
And yeah, but either way, this boss is kind of like the equivalent of those extremely hard Final Fantasy optional bosses. In Dark Souls, this is what I consider it.
Yeah.
Because
you don't have to fight him.
Because, yeah, it's entirely optional. It's an optional boss in the DLC, so it's even more optional.
Yeah.
And so this does have attacks that are half fire, half dark magic. So it is very, very hard to deal with.
I ended up
things like that.
Yeah, so I ended up fully upgrading the crest shield, and because I've actually been chilling out in Ornstein's armor for since I beat them in Anne Orlando. So I've been using that, and for this fight, I was like, I don't have the equipment load to have like fast rolls. So I'm just going to literally tank all of his attacks. And
oh boy.
So I ended up fully upgrading the crest shield so that it had like as high stability as I could get it, and then it literally just tanked all of his fire attacks, tanked all of his melee attacks, and the only reason that I actually died on this fight was because I wanted to cut off his tail, and there are not many opportunities for you to actually attack the tail because he doesn't keep it close to the ground. Which is a smart idea, actually.
So how many times did you die to this boss?
On this fight, I probably died like 7 times, I would say, roughly. And the majority of them was just because, like, I think I died the first time because he actually just straight up killed me. But the majority of the times after that were just because I was trying to figure out when I could get an opening to attack his tail. And once I finally managed to cut his tail off, he killed me once more. but I'd gotten the weapon, so I didn't care. And then I killed him the next attempt, because like he's not actually that hard to attack as long as you know once you know his pattern.
Yeah.
But
This boss is more of an endurance run than anything, because he just has such high health.
Yeah, and he can like if you get hit straight up by his fire attacks, he can deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, because they're all multi-hit attacks.
Mm-hmm. That one in particular got me a couple times.
Yeah, and there's a lot of very wide sweeping attacks, even if you did technically dodge at the right time, since it attacks.
Yep.
Swing is long enough, it can actually be longer than your actual dodge and can catch you once you finish your dodge.
Yep. Which is another reason why, because I have medium rolls. I was just like, nope, just gonna block and tank it, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked. Like, I took damage, but the shield took the brunt of it, so that was fine.
Well, as you can see, even though the arrow that Goff put into him isn't there, his left wing is still like limpy.
Yeah. It's damaged.
So it can still fly for an attack, but
he kind of glides. Yeah, he kind of glides rather than straight up flying.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course, because when he's like losing the fight, he just fly away if you do that.
Right.
I mean, that's what I do. I mean, you know, if I'm about to lose
like
fight, I just fly.
Yeah, it's like the first time we fought him. Like the first time you come into this arena, he just straight up destroys you with his fire breath from long range because he's a flying dragon. Why would he engage you in melee combat?
Yeah. Yeah, and so to initiate this fight on the normally you have to die to him at least once, but it's kind of like Seath.
Yeah. Because you
can't.
So,
but you can still use the Ring of Sacrifice.
Yeah, you can't trigger Goff's dialogue to take him down unless you come into this arena in the first place.
Yeah, because he asks you, oh, so you're having trouble dealing with that black dragon, right? And then you go, yes. And you go, oh, I'll take it down for you. And he does.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. In case you didn't know.
Cool guy Goff.
Yeah, he is. In case you didn't know, Goff is blind, but he still managed to take out the dragon. He's still trucking.
So technically speaking, his helmet is filled with resin.
Yeah.
So he's like he was blinded, but like it's not because he can't see out of his eyes. It's just because he's wearing a helmet that's filled with resin.
Yeah, so maybe not a smart dude, but
I think the lore
still useful.
I think the lore explanation was that the like villagers of Ulasil ended up doing it to his helmet because they thought he was just a brutish like oaf giant, and we're like, oh, we hate you, so we're gonna fill your helmet with resin because that's how you respond to people you don't like, apparently.
Yeah. And they got it to them. They are now creatures of the abyss.
Yeah. So I mean, they got what was coming to them for that.
That's what you get for being an angry mob.
Yeah, exactly.
And attacking someone Hunchback of Notre Dame style.
I actually really felt bad about attacking Goff when like before I headed into the Kiln of the First Flame. I was like, oh, you know, I want to pick up all the armor that I can and whatnot, so I'll just murder all of the NPCs and be an awful person because why not? But yeah, I actually felt bad about attacking Goff because he's just cool guy Goff. Like I didn't want to attack him. Like I don't know. I didn't feel bad about killing Kieran, but there's just something about Goff that was like, oh, I don't want to attack you.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of NPCs like that. Well, and then of course a couple of NPCs that you don't really mind killing, of course.
Patches.
By the way, that attack that he does, that grab move, Did he hit you with it?
It's a telekinesis attack that it's fairly easy to dodge out of. If he grabs you with it, he pulls you up into the air and then puts a little debuff on you that makes you take double damage, I think.
Yeah, from all sources.
Yeah.
But it does last for like half a minute, I think. So
Yeah.
you have to survive for that long.
Fortunately, it does not increase the amount of stamina damage that you take from your shield if you're blocking. So.
It's true.
So that's how I got
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's a very, very arduous fight. We've gone on for like nearly 10 minutes for this one.
yeah. And it would have been even longer if you wanted to cut off his tail. Thankfully, we apparently don't care about the Obsidian Greatsword.
I'm trying to not die here.
Yeah. Actually,
I don't think I've died once in the DLC yet.
no? I don't think so either. Alright, the Obsidian Greatsword looks kind of silly to me, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Like, I would have thought that it would have looked more like his actual tail does, kind of, since his tail looks very sharp and weapony in the first place.
Well, it's a bit like the Moonlight Greatsword for Seath. It looks nothing like the
Yeah.
Greatsword, but still get from him.
Yeah. It's like it's actually a very powerful weapon.
Yeah.
Comparative to a lot of the other dragon weapons, like it deals a lot of damage.
Well, Moonlight
But just-
Greatsword is pretty popular because aside
It
from, of
scales
course,
well.
the initial, yeah, and of course, aside from like the requirements and strength, it's a very as like A skilling in intelligence, so a lot of magic user
it starts
players have it.
It starts with A rank and it upgrades to S rank with intelligence scaling, which makes it
Yeah.
very powerful for high intelligence builds. Which is actually I've started leveling up my intelligence and faith now at the moment on my character, and I think I might, like, once I get the amount of intelligence required, I think I might try using the Moonlight Greatsword a little bit.
So what level are you right now?
My character's level is, I think, like 106 or something.
Right.
I have 40 endurance, like 30 vitality, 34 strength, like all sorts of weird stat distribution, like 22 dexterity, 22 intelligence, 22 faith, or something like that.
Well, normally people would have their endurance to 40, no matter what.
Yeah.
And then their vitality either 30 or 50, because in both of those, there's a soft cap.
Ouch. Yeah, I'm.
Yeah.
Oh god. There we
Yeah.
go. It's fine.
And also, I need to get all my health back, so I'll use humanity instead.
Just pop a humanity there. Yeah. I want to keep leveling endurance a little bit, just so that I can stop using Havel's ring without getting fat roll.
Okay.
I hate needing to use 2 equip load rings at the same time.
Well, don't wear such heavy armor then.
That's the thing. Like, I'm just using Ornstein's armor.
Oh, maybe. Oh no, it's for weapons, because your
Yeah,
weapons are probably heavier than your armor.
Yeah, it's because I'm using 2 great swords at the same time, and now I've made it even worse because I'm using a great shield as well, because I ascended the great shield of Artorias. So I'm completely overloaded with heavy equipment, and there's nothing I can do about that. I mean,
You could just try to use one weapon at a time.
But I don't like needing to go back through the menu every time I want to, like, switch weapons, because I'm using a Divine Zweihander and the Great Sword of Artorias, and for all of the enemies that magic damage is not good against, the Great Sword is way better. So I just like being able to quickly switch between them on the fly.
Well, there is what players sometimes do in PvP, where, of course, the weapons that deal probably the most damage are the heaviest ones, and so
Yeah.
when they parry the player, and then they're at their parry window state, they go to their inventory, equip the weapon that deals the most damage, and of course it's super heavy, and then do the counter attack.
See, I'm just not speedy enough at going through the menus for stuff like that.
That's why they always organize it as such.
Yeah. I don't want to deal with that. I like the convenience of having multiple weapons and shields equipped at the same time. So
Yeah,
I have to live with having Havel's Ring until such a point as I can get so absurdly overleveled that it doesn't matter anymore. But
just wear very light armor then.
But I like Ornstein's armor so much as well.
Whatever.
I don't want to use cloth armor with heavy weapons because I feel like it ruins the thematic element of the character that I have. And
Alright.
and I like doing small amounts of RP when it comes to like RPGs.
Oh, the story for Trailblazer here is that nothing.
Ouch.
She doesn't have one.
Just a blank slate who got dropped into this weird world.
Yeah, she's known as Trailblazer because she was originally a pyromancer, but then she abandoned that quite early on.
And became a halberd user instead.
Yes. Not even a fire one, just a lightning.
Yeah, just a
that's
lightning infused halberd, like whatever.
Yeah, actually, for some RPGs, I do the same thing, but very, very lightly.
Yeah, I like maintaining consistency with a character that I've created. So like, I want this character that I'm playing in Dark Souls to be like a medium or heavy armor wielding, great sword wielding, like paladin knight character, and so going to like cloth armor for the sake of roll speed just seems like it would kind of ruin that.
Currently I'm playing Guild Wars 2, and you can set dyes for like all of your equipment. And the character I have right now is I just made up.
Oops.
Whatever. That's the only time that I ever died in this DLC. Is me. Oh, actually, currently I was trying to be invaded by Chester, but
right.
I forgot that you can't when you kill the bosses.
Yeah.
But anyway, the character I have I just made her up to having loads of anger issues, and so I gave her just red and orange armor all the time. So when it comes to that, when it comes to like RPing, it's not like their stats or weapons they use. It's like their appearance without affecting any of those things. So
Yeah. We can talk more about
More of
that
that later.
next time. Yeah.
the last episode.